The worst thing you can do right now is panic in a situation like this. If you just follow these simple instructions, we will keep you safe from these storms. You still have time if you're in the Boone community, but for those who are over towards Estes, you are probably a little bit too late. It's probably warned up until about 10 minutes ago, and then it quickly began to intensify and is now tracking just a little bit to the west of the previous storms.
What do you have for us?
I just wanted to give a quick update for folks who might be up around Philadelphia who are concerned about the warnings that they had. Those warnings have now been dropped. If you're in Neshoba County and Leake County, you are no longer under a tornado warning. We're still watching the cells closely, and you might get some isolated severe within this, but those tornado warnings have been dropped. So the most serious storm within our viewing area, of course, is the one that is working its way down Interstate 20 and currently heading towards Forest.
In this, so again, it is a mile wide now. Thank you, Will. You're on top of this. With again, where we're seeing the tornado debris signature, which is these colors here, there in the blue. Will, describe what we're seeing with that, if you would.
Well, we're now the correlation coefficient. We're starting to get into even lower values than what we were seeing before, which is indication that it's even picking up larger debris than what it was picking up previously, and it's probably because it's getting into more urban areas as well. So it's picking up things like buildings and houses and things like that. So you need to be taking this seriously as it begins to cross the highway. In fact, it's probably already over the highway right now and is going to be continuing to approach Boone, probably about 10 minutes out from Boone. We'll plot a storm track on that for you here in a minute. So you need to take this warning very seriously. In fact, if we could go ahead and pop up those severe weather tips for those of you who are now going to be needing to take shelter from this storm, if we can get up that cycle, if we can Viper up there. As these storms cycle, what you see right here is actually the rear flank downdraft of the storm that is now actually wrapping around. The tornado was located right about here, and what we call the storm is now occluding. So it's now beginning to weaken just a little bit, but as it continues to do this, the area of concern that we're going to be paying attention to is now for the updraft to redevelop out ahead of this along I-20. So we could possibly start seeing some rotation further ahead from where we were previously seeing the rotation. And this is something that we see quite a bit with supercell thunderstorms as they hit their mature phase, and we'll go ahead and update this image now that the radar has updated. These storms, when they start to occlude, their updrafts will reform out ahead of where the old updraft was. So the old updraft was back here. It has now been choked off by the rear flank downdraft, which Brian has mentioned, wraps around back behind this. So we'll be watching out ahead of this for possible redevelopment of that updraft. I'm going to go ahead and switch this over to Storm Relative and see what things are doing with this new update.
Right, and as Will's mentioned there, it looks like it's cycling. We can clear off that storm track too, and it looks like it is trying to now redevelop out ahead, as Will was mentioning. And as he said, this happens a lot.